They say you know when something's off. At first, I ignored it. Maybe I didn't want to see it. I'm 33, been with Danielle for almost 4 years. We met at a charity 5K. She was volunteering. I was running for my company. She patched up my knee after I tripped near the finish line. That's how it started. We've been solid since, or I thought we were, lately. Though, she's been different, jumpy, guarded. It started small. Her laptop would snap shut the second I entered the room. She said it was just work stress. Some compliance stuff with her firm. Fine. I let it go. Then there were the phone calls, always stepping outside. At first, I figured it was just loud in our apartment, but she'd be gone for 20, 30 minutes once I overheard her say, "No. He doesn't know. Just stick to the plan." When I asked, she laughed and said it was about a surprise party for her friend. I tried not to overthink. I wanted to believe her. I mean, we'd picked out a ring together 3 months ago. I'd already talked to her dad. But trust isn't a switch, it's a balance, and mine was starting to tilt. Something was wrong. I could feel it in the silence between us, and how she smiled without reaching her eyes, and how my own mind wouldn't let it go. It happened on a Wednesday night. She was out, getting drinks with coworkers, but her iPad, an older one she barely used, was sitting on the kitchen counter, screen still lit. I wasn't proud of what I did next. I told myself it was just a quick glance, just enough to quiet the storm inside me. But what I found didn't quiet anything. There was a folder titled Event Planning, innocent enough. Inside were PDFs, message logs, even mock-up emails from fake accounts. At first, I thought it was some kind of prank until I opened the file named Execution Plan. It was a step-by-step outline. Phase 1. Trip to Tahoe, book under fake name. Plant tracking app on James' phone before trip. Phase 2. Staged abduction. Send ransom demand via encrypted email client. $200K or he dies. Use his account for partial withdrawal, then vanish. Phase 3. Disappear. Burner phones, prepaid Visa cards, new ID, timeline. 36 hours post-ransom. There were even notes about what tone to use in the ransom email. Keep it chaotic. Mention past debts. Avoid spelling errors. There was a photo of me attached, taken when I was loading tools into my truck. I hadn't known it was taken. The file was named leverage.jpg. I sat there frozen, hands shaking, while rising in my throat. This wasn't just betrayal, it was war. I moved on. Instinct, no panic, no yelling, just focus, sharp, surgical. I photographed everything. The plan, the messages, the emails, the burner phone receipt. Then I backed it all up to a hidden drive and a secure cloud account I'd set up during a long-forgotten cybersecurity phase. By the time she walked through the door at 11:43 p.m., I was gone. New phone, new number, no trace. I didn't go home. I didn't even pack a bag. Just took my wallet, laptop, and the evidence, checked into a business-class hotel on the edge of town. Then I drove straight to the nearest precinct and asked for a detective. It was almost 3 a.m. when I finally sat across from someone in a glass-walled interview room. I showed them everything, every file, every timestamp, every digital breadcrumb. The detective didn't say much, just nodded more with every scroll. Finally, he looked at me and said, "You did the right thing coming in." I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel anything, really. Just the strange weightlessness that comes when your life rips free of its anchor. By dawn, she had already texted the old number 5 times. By lunch, she tried to call. By evening, I got a message through a mutual friend. "Danielle's freaking out, says she can't find you. Is everything okay?" I stared at the screen and felt nothing. By Friday morning, her tone had shifted. "James," the email began, "I don't know what you think you saw, but it wasn't real. It was a writing exercise, a thriller concept I was developing for a screenwriting workshop." She attached a PDF with a fake syllabus header. Then came the calls from her friends. "She's devastated. Said you hacked her private files? Why would you spy on someone you love?" One even said, "James, I always thought you were stable. This is concerning." Her mother messaged me on Facebook. "Danielle says you disappeared without explanation. What happened to the man she wanted to marry?" It was like standing in a courtroom where the judge, jury, and audience had already decided I was guilty, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I logged the timestamps, compared the creative draft with the version I had backed up, identical down to the metadata. I found a deleted folder on her old tablet labeled Backups Final. It had the same files, but with file names like Plan Legal Cover and Full Script V6, Remove Cache Ref. This wasn't fiction. I sent it to the detective, no commentary. Just the files, he called back the same night. You did good. We're escalating it to financial crimes. She had no idea that every lie she told was just more evidence. By the following week, the police had a warrant. They pulled data from her laptop, synced backups from her cloud, and traced every alias account she'd used. What they'd found confirmed everything and more. The plan wasn't just digital fiction. There were audio files, distorted, masked voices reading scripted ransom demands, practiced phrasing, background noise. Added to sound believable, she'd even rehearsed different emotional tones. One file was labeled Urgent Tone v3.wave. There was a spreadsheet of expenses, burner phone costs, VPN subscriptions, prepaid debit cards bought in cash. Another document listed a second name, Colin T. I didn't recognize it, but investigators did. He'd been arrested before in a similar scam back in Nevada. Texts between them revealed it all. Danielle, once we get the money, we go dark. Mexico still the plan? Colin, yeah, you handle the emotional angle. He trusts you. This wasn't spontaneous. This was engineered. When the detective briefed me, his tone was grim. Mr. Hale, this is felony conspiracy, at minimum. Danielle was brought in for questioning that Friday. She went from composed to frantic in under 5 minutes, cried, denied, blamed Colin, then claimed it was still just a twisted art experiment, but they'd seen enough. She was released pending charges but barred from contacting me. A restraining order followed. Suddenly the call stopped, not because she gave up, but because now it was real, or it took 6 months to arrive. Danielle showed up in beige, no makeup, with her lawyer glued to her side, her defense, fiction blurred into reality. But the evidence crushed that fast. The judge read the ransom script aloud. Her face didn't show regret, just frustration, like the world had failed to understand her genius. When she finally pled guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud, the room was silent. Sentence, 18 months probation, $15,000 in restitution, mandatory psychological counseling, and a federal record. I watched her exit in handcuffs, not with triumph, but with a quiet sense of order restored. Truth had weight. And it finally landed. It's been a year. I moved to a quieter town, bought a small place near the water, therapy every week. I still flinch when phones buzz unexpectedly. Trust comes slow now, earned, not assumed. I don't feel brave, just lucky. I didn't marry her. I didn't end up in some shallow grave. For a wire transfer, I survived. People call me the guy from that story. But I'm just a man who saw the edge and backed away. Betrayal doesn't just break hearts, it shatters illusions. Painful, yes, but it clears the ground. And now, finally, I'm building something real.